Hello cette équipe, je suis à la Phoenix Gallery, ou plutôt dans les étages de la Phoenix Gallery, où se trouvent les ateliers de plus de 100 artistes. C'est là que je vais rencontrer Anna Dumitriu, une artiste internationale qui assemble parfaitement le monde scientifique et le monde artistique.
So I'm Anna Dumitriu and I'm an artist working in Brighton. I specialise in something people tend to call bioart, I guess. So I work with bacteria a lot, particularly. I'm creating artworks with bacteria. I use a lot of textile stuff in my work, and then but also various other things and a lot of digital technology. And I'm also I do a lot of work with robotics and artificial life, artificial intelligence. I'm the artist in residence on the UK CRC, UK Clinical Research Consortium project, modernising medical microbiology at University of Oxford, and I'm artist in residence in the Adaptive Systems Research Group at University of Hertfordshire, and also just finishing up a residency at the Centre for Computational Neuroscience and Robotics at the University of Sussex. And so why am I an artist? I guess it's just a vocation, really. It's just something that you kind of always do. For me, I guess it's a good way of understanding the world or trying to find out about the world. So I think I see it as a kind of meta-discipline, a way of bringing other disciplines together that I can kind of incorporate them into one piece, one idea or multiple ideas, but I can kind of flip between artificial intelligence and microbiology and history and craft technologies and things like that, all through the framework of being an artist. So I find that really interesting, and get to share that work with lots of other people, and I get to travel a lot, but that's not why, but it's a nice perk. So yeah, all around the world. Still waiting on a divine touch. Try to ride on waves of activity. Microbiology, I think, it's kind of something so amazing, and there's a lot of misunderstanding about it, and microbes are really beautiful, wonderful hidden things. There's and they're integral to us. So there's more bacteria on the end of your finger than there are people in the world, and there are more bacterial cells in the human body than there are human cells. So we're superorganisms anyway, and all those bacteria are communicating to each other, different signals. They know how many of them there are around, and they're such complex organisms. So there's just so much in the science of them, in the history, in the aesthetics of them. The history of disease is fascinating as well, but also the misrepresentation is really fascinating. I've got two main projects on at the moment. One is for the Science Gallery in Dublin, which is an exhibition coming up in April called Human Plus, and in that I'll be showing, collaborating with Alex May, we've got a humanoid robot. This is with the University of Hertfordshire as part of that residency. A humanoid robot, and the head of the robot, there's various heads for the robot, but the main head that will actually be on the robot will digitally morph into a representation of something that's like a familial representation of your face as you approach it. So it's using a Microsoft Kinect and various software and rear projection. So the face is rear projected onto it and uses projective geometry to shape the face. And then there's a number of other faces that will be exhibited with that robot, kind of other robot heads which might be quite provocative, or they'll have provocative texts with them. And the piece is talking about robot companions that might be used in the future, sort of sex robots, robots to keep your children company, robot nannies, robot carers for the elderly. Lots of things people are quite uncomfortable about that might happen. People suggest that humanoid robots might provide the sort of necessary kind of human contact that elderly people, for instance, might need when there's not enough young people to go and visit them anymore. These are hypothetical things, but the piece is talking about the ethics of kind of producing robots for companionship and what's going on with that, just kind of raising awareness about it. And then I've got another big project I'm working on at the moment, which is the Oxford University residency, and I'm making a quilt using MRSA, which is a bacteria, Staphylococcus aureus, which is one of the most common human bacteria, but the methicillin-resistant strains of it, MRSA, are very famous, particularly in this country, I guess, and in other parts of the world. Because they're the hospital-acquired pathogens, that they're drug-resistant strains. So I'm making a quilt where the fabric is dyed with actual MRSA bacteria, and the patterns in the quilt are created using the infection control methods that are being used against it or trialled against it. So the quilt is investigating forms of infection control through textiles, but actually using fabric coloured with bacteria. I've done quite a few projects where I colour fabric with bacteria and embroider into it with antibiotics and things like that. And so this will be exhibited as kind of a piece to engage people to talk about or think more about these issues, and also the discrepancies between what the media says, the newspapers and TV advertising and things, and the reality of the situation, because there's a lot of fear being generated through kind of misunderstanding as well. Got a part-time job at the Phoenix Gallery, which is running the arts courses. So I like to kind of enable other artists to teach their specialisms, their areas of interest. So it's very specific kind of courses that we run here. So they're run by professional artists, and the target audience for them is professional artists and emerging artists, so people who would see themselves hopefully becoming artists in the future. And then another thing that I do at the Phoenix is I organise the White Night events here, which is the international White Night festival that Brighton participates in. So I've been running it for 3 years, and this year will be the 4th year. And from the first year I collaborated with Tibet on something here, and then in year 2 and 3 there have been versions of the Meta Hub. One was in the main gallery in year 2, and then last year Meta Hub took over a whole room downstairs and had collaborations with Switzerland and somewhere else. Collaboration with Switzerland anyway, and I think another location, possibly Brussels. So that's mainly the connection. And with the new Meta Hub, which fingers crossed might happen in Jubilee Square or somewhere in Brighton for the next White Night, I'm helping with the organising a bit, kind of I think more in an advisory capacity, because I'm also running a White Night here, but very happy to be involved with that. It's a great project.